ready to go.
Yeah, I am.
All right.
You're here.
Anyone want to step up for a little recap of last week's episode?
I can do that. The group came together in Beauvais in regards to the harvest opportunities that one of the guilds is providing and paying for certain things if you can find them. One of which has led them on a trip to find the Mumbleman, which is me, to try and get some moss root potion, and on that journey they did end up battling some Macau as well as another creature. And then they found the Mumbleman, and there was some discussion and argument and an agreement to help the Mumbleman with the task in order for him to provide them with a moss root potion.
Very nice, very nice. You can take yourself a shiny D6 inspiration dice.
Hooray!
Forget about the bending of the door.
Yeah, you're forgetting pertinent information here.
Well, okay, yeah, there are other details for which you can watch the video.
But that is pretty much correct. I believe where we left off, you guys were in the midst of trying to figure out or come to some sort of agreement about, obtaining your moss rot potion, things like that. See, Jesse is logged on. At least onto roll 20. But I'm not sure if you were right in the midst of having the conversation of inviting in or what you guys were planning on doing. If you were looking to stay here for a short rest.
I believe I told them that I was going to eat and make my lunch, and that we would, or we could proceed after I had fed myself. But I could be wrong.
Okay.
Oops, I'm not using that. I was just setting it up.
He needed +3 inspiration to eat his lunch.
Yeah.
Cody,
Yeah.
What's his name in Discord?
I think it's like a really, really long name with a bunch of U's or something in it. Hold on. I'm just going to look back through the conversation.
Okay, I see it. I think it's a somebody or whatever.
Yeah, Sambudi, that's it.
Okay, I just want to make sure it was in the Discord. Because he said he was online.
Is he online?
No. I thought you said that.
No, he's...
I was just making sure he was in this thing. But...
Well, he's on roll 20. But maybe he's still having connection issues or something. I'm not sure.
Verizon's been fine for me. There's some booty.
There he is. Jesse, hello.
Yo, what's up?
Not much, you?
Just same old man.
You were just getting started, so brace yourself. Anyway, where were we?
We were having lunch at Mumbleman's retreat before we proceed with a task to help him out. Jesse, if you're interested, there is video that I've posted to the Facebook Messenger chat that goes through last week's session, but it's a couple hours long.
Cool. I'll check it out later.
Yeah.
All right, catch yourself up a bit. While you are fresh and here, not that I could ask this last time, but what does everyone see with goose fat? If you could describe your character a little bit. Thanks.
Goose fat is this dirty, 4 foot tall, mangy, rabbit looking dude with one regular arm and one sword for an arm, short sword for an arm. If you get too close, he probably smells.
Okay. Okay. I was pretty close with my description then. With, at least
Jesse,
with the mangy part. I lean more into the mangy.
just to give you an idea, Mumbleman is a elderly elf, who also, if you get too close, would smell, of various unguents and some smoke and acid and just various compounds that he's always surrounding himself with. Uh, he's a little decrepit and seems kind of uh, bit of dementia, sort of almost, in his attitude, and he kind of talks to himself a little bit too. And all of his clothing and apparel is like stuff that's self-made. He's a hermit and has been out in these woods for 45 years, 45, 50 years.
Okay.
And then Barney, who Cody messaged you about, but we had ended up traveling together for a bit. I kind of did just some one-sided role play of us just kind of chatting on the side, just kind of talking shit kind of thing, like just chatting the shit. But he's 6'3" human with black hair, and he's got like pretty shitty armor, pretty shitty shield. Just upgraded a shitty knife actually last session, but he's kind of dirty and just smells a little chemically too. And yeah, he's just a paladin that you met along the road. And then we met these guys after we got the guild assignment in the the main, what do you call that place, Cody?
Bolivar.
Yeah, like the main, the
Hub.
open area, the hub, yeah, of Bolivar.
Yeah.
Altair is a pretty tall, 6'2", slender dragonborn, crystal dragonborn. He's like light blue, but also kind of prismatic, where if you in the right light, he might turn to a slight different color. He's carries around a long staff with a crystal center with vines wrapped around it. He wears little to no clothes. He just has a black cloak and a black like kilt like cover for his lower half.
Indeed.
Bjorn is a 8 foot tall Goliath. Like bluish gray skin, lightning blue eyes, really big in stature. He only ever has bows and quivers on him. He's a ranged fighter. And he's very much into the runes and everything, and his little niche is drawing runic symbols into things.
Now you're caught up. And besides that, there were a very short trip to the woods, 1 or 2 quick combats to where we got till now. So it hasn't been too. You haven't missed too much. back into it. Mumbleman heads back into his shack to prepare a meal. Mumbleman, is there any invitation, or are you keeping everyone outside? What?
Keeping everybody outside as I eat, but you do hear some thumping and banging and wrestling around like he's searching through piles of stuff and grabbing some equipment and whatnot, but it's like his house is full of junk.
Okay.
And he will emerge, 45 minutes to an hour later, just crack the door open slightly, slip out, and then close the door behind him.
All right. So I would say in that time of an hour, everyone could do a short rest if you are hanging out waiting. I think we did say that at the end of the session.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking this.
We had kind of discussed it, but
Yeah, whether or not it actually say in that time there would be enough of an hour's pass for a short rest. But the four of you do see. Oh, sorry, man. Go ahead.
Just saying the short rest, I'm kind of gonna take out a little bit of fabric I have. I carry it with me and kind of just clean my bow up a little bit.
Okay.
Very meticulous with my bow. That's it. That's all I was doing.
Okay. Anyone else doing anything within this hour's period?
I'm doing what I described. I'm grabbing equipment and making myself ready for this little bit of a journey. And when I slip out of the door, you see that I am covered with straps and equipment and stuff, as far as some potion vials, some what looks like bladders of different things, like kind of like water skins but smaller. I've got a really old, uh, badly maintained short sword, and I have this walking stick that has a Y at the top with like strings hanging down from it. And the biggest thing you notice is I've got a rather large clay pot slash jug on my back that's got like several different spouts to it, but it's strapped on like a backpack.
Okay.
Is there any guards in the vicinity?
Nope. I guess setting wise, you were in the middle of a deep forest now, away from town. And it's taken probably about 4 or so hours to get to this point from leaving town. So as far as guards, there's no guards around here. It's just the four of you outside waiting for this older man to come out of his house.
Goosefat just kind of posted up on the corner and hacks just like a really big loogie onto the ground.
Okay. An hour's worth of loogies. Barney or Alter, what are you guys doing?
Barney's gonna take some time to have a drink and eat some food, and have a drink. And when Goose Fat hacks his leg, he's like, "Oh, come on, man, I'm eating here. What the hell?"
Oh,
I'll,
what kind of
I'll,
victuals do you have over there? Smells mighty tasty.
I'll shuffle around 180 on the ground, and I'll throw a piece of jerky over my shoulder at you.
He skewers it with his like sword arm and is eating it in the corner.
Altair does literally nothing, probably. He just probably stands there quietly and just waits.
You take in the scenery, I guess you could say.
Yeah, he said I can't do anything with the crystal today or my head will explode, so...
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. But you do feel the
Resting
weight
his
of it.
mind.
Yeah. letting the Advil kick in. But yes, everyone in that meet, after a bit of time, you guys watch Mumbleman appear from his house and slowly closes the door, revealing all of his baubles and trinkets and jugs that he's carrying.
Okay, so if we're gonna do this, we can do it this afternoon, but we're gonna have to be, pretty quick. We don't, want to be caught out after dark. And he starts taking off down the path here.
We'll, I guess, follow the little man with the white hair.
And yeah, you would know exactly where this is, James.
All right.
I'll point it out to you when we get to that point.
Yeah.
Anyone else coming?
Brian's gonna take one last swig and put a cork in it and shove it all in his pocket and take off after them. The fast old man. Oh,
When he gets to this point, you kind of see him go over to the tree, and there's something down in the base of the tree that he plays with, and then he moves on.
Okay.
He's basically just resetting his mornings.
All right. Jesse, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just kind of getting the feel of everybody before I jump in.
No, that's okay. No. I just seen that you're off of 20 now, so I was like, oh shit.
No, I'm actually just filling in my character sheet.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I just it doesn't show you at the bottom. So like, oh shit, I know roll 20 can be kind of a yeah sometimes. So I was like, oh.
No, I'm still here, man.
Okay. All right. I know. I take it you're tagging along.
No, I'm starting my own adventure the exact opposite way.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, it was good knowing you, man. Like,
There was a sign on the door saying that the things in the house and the person in the house is dangerous, so avoid the house.
forgot about that.
all right. But yes, continuing on, you begin to head south. Mumbleman leading this troop of newfound people, I guess you can say, to help you with your task in mind.
And it seems like Mumbleman has a constant conversation with himself going. You catch a
Who
phrase
are
like,
you
they
talking
wouldn't leave me alone, and damn guilds, and I hope this works out.
Shorn looks at him. Mumble man, what's your you good, man?
Yeah,
Who are
just
you
come along
talking?
and leave me alone.
How am I supposed to leave you alone if we're supposed to be helping you?
Don't bother me, just follow.
That one's a little bossy, ain't he?
Huh? I couldn't hear him. Oh, he's moving so fast. I haven't ran this fast in a while. Huh.
Pushing past, the pathway begins to sort of narrow again in like much similar fashion to some of the trails you've taken before. Branches left. You push on for about a solid 15 or so, 20 minutes before it branches off. Mumbleman, you know the direction. You continue to push, taking the left path, obviously for treasure.
As we're walking and going, Mumbleman will keep an eye out for certain plants and roots and things, and do a little bit of quick harvest here and there.
Okay. You can give me a quick survival check if you want. Just to see what kind of goods may. Okay. Normal stuff for you. A lot of exposed Terranav bulbs and root. Couple Carrare stalks along the whole travel. So I'd say entirely probably. Thing. Besides, like if you want leaves or something for salves, we can talk about that.
I don't have any particular need right now, but yeah,
Okay.
just things he's low on. Basically, he's just doing what he does, which is, every time he's out and about, he knows where some of
Okay.
these plants are because this is his area. So,
All right. Okay. Say pushing another 20 minutes, it starts to open up further, and you can start to see where a large pond comes into view. Even the overgrowth in this area is pretty evident. Lots of tall grass. There's not a lot of footfall or travel in this area, so it's really allowed the area to take back what used to be a path through here. Protruding crystals coming through. A lot of them are a lot bigger than you remember them, Mumbleman. But to everyone else, these are starting to come into some big areas. This is the area that is very close to where the cave is, James, as well.
all right. His constant mumbling and talking to himself, like, uh, scares away small, woodland creatures and stuff like that. But just, the small basic ones, and, uh, birds don't get too close, that sort of thing, because he's just constantly yammering.
And your travels up into this point had seemed arduous until you reached the hut. For the last, what would be probably 45 minutes of travels, hasn't had much as far as threats either. So surprisingly, you've reached this area without much issue.
I am keeping an eye out for, creatures I've had problems with lately. The whatchamacallit, the bipedal ones.
Okay. Yeah.
Macau haven't really been an issue for me, so I'm not really looking for them, or even,
Okay.
all that familiar.
So you're going to try and keep your eye open for, like, queen spawn, I guess you can say.
Yep. And for
Okay, so
those, like, trees or places where they might be, I wasn't there, but I assume they, spawn kind of similarly from the bulbs to trees and stuff.
Indeed. Okay, I was going to say, with that in mind, you can make an active perception check just to keep your glance going while you're moving through. Anyone else who's doing the same obviously can make the same rolls.
Oops, sorry, wrong one. But yeah, we'll call it's the that would be a 10 instead of a 7.
Okay. You start to look towards like the knot points and where branches meet the trunk of the trees. You don't see any gnarled bulbs that are hanging down or any strange overgrowth. In fact, you notice that there's not even a lot of roots that are queen's roots in this area. It seems to have been a little more tame as far as her influence here, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
So that makes that a bit easier, so you think. Altair, you start to get a pretty active look around and you feel pretty confident seeing that you don't see anything, at least within this immediate sort of grove, causes a threat to you. You do notice a giant green crystal that protrudes out of the ground, as long as a couple other red formations. None of them seem to have a specific glow to them or anything like that, like you had experienced before. But you do take that in while you're walking by.
Good.
Breeze picks up a bit and sort of rustles the trees, which kind of puts you on edge for a moment before you realize that it's passing through. And for one of the first times since you've been out today, one of the massive overhanging veil branches casts a shadow that passes by, almost like you'd think a cloud passed by in the sky, but in fact, a tree moved above. Which kind of, again, everyone sort of breathes like, oh, okay, oh, not being ambushed from the forest. Sweet, awesome.
So in Mumbleman's constant mumbling to himself, same tone of voice and everything, he asks out of the blue, "So, what's your deal, big guy? Why are you working for the guilds?"
I'm just really trying to make a little extra coin and get more knowledge, trying to track down my real father.
Family. I had one once.
So did I. I'm the last. I left my herd and decided to venture forth to gain more knowledge.
Can't quite remember what happened with mine. Eh, not important.
How long have you been around, old timer?
Oh, long enough to know better, still not really caring.
You lose
Life
family.
goes
Not
on. You
much.
live each day.
Yeah.
Preferably alone and unbothered by the outside world.
Being alone is good at times, but having companions to walk with and talk and help you during battles can always be good for one's mind.
Well, I've been alone for a long time and kinda used to it, but there are things I want to do.
You start to come within sight of the cave that you are familiar with, Mumbleman. As soon as you get to that point, you can start to see through some of the broken parts of the trees and over across the pond, the overgrown sort of entrance of this cave that sort of starts to burrow into one side of this large, I'm not going to say mountain, but just hillside.
Recognizing where I am, I stop and pause. And then it's kinda. I go quiet for like the first time, and I'm just. I appear to be like lost in thought.
Barney's like been hustling to catch up, and he slams right into the back of Mumbleman. Oh,
Um,
oh, jeez. Sorry, man. Oh, I was trying to catch. Oh,
if it wasn't for his staff with the Y crotch in the front, he would have tripped and fallen over. And he shakes his head and looks around and goes, "Oh yeah, this way." And he starts going towards the cave.
Okay.
oh.
Is Goose doing anything in particular in this moment?
He's just going to keep on following along with the group, but it's kind of a dumb question in this terrain. But like, is there like traversable trees around that he can like kind of Tarzan himself, kind of doing an Overwatch for the group?
You probably could. In some of this larger area, especially, it wouldn't have been for example, like where you just were. Up until this point, where the path had narrowed to get here, it would have been very easy. And there are still a number of large, tall trees throughout the entire forest, so it is quite possible for you to do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that and can do a perception check to see how relatively safe we are.
Sure, you can. Well, luckily it wasn't with the disadvantage. Usually, I don't know if it rolls with advantage. I'll always take the first roll because I understand that sometimes clicking the toggle with that on and off is a pain in the
You have
but
to
a
go
nine.
set. You actually have to go set up the toggle.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll go set that up as soon as I got like my full character set up.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's
And if
fine.
you, yeah,
Yes, but a nine, you don't see anything threatening or that's encroaching upon the party as you sort of Tarzan yourself across. Give me an acrobatics check as well as you sort of try and run, jump, and swing through the branches to catch up as they've been sort of keeping a hot pace going along so far.
Can I do an athletics instead, just straight up long jumping track style with this stuff?
Sure, sure, I'll allow that.
I didn't mean to double click.
No, all good. 21, definitely good. So yeah, you're definitely bounding leaps, especially playing into your Herringon roll there. It really comes to show in this moment as you're using a lot of these large trunks to jump up, and then make a three branch high leap over to a different tree, and then adjust your trajectory and continue to keep up while the party sort of gets to this point. And you can hear them now starting to begin to talk about a cave that's nearby as you sort of catch up. But everyone else now, as you get to hear Bjorn and Altair and Barney now go see the cave that Mumbleman was referring to.
So is that where we're going, old man?
Yeah, and then we're gonna have to go for a swim, and then on the other side of the pool, there's a spot I can't get past anymore. But I think with your size and maybe the group helping, we should be able to do it. I take a look at Barney. Is there a reason he's struggling to keep up?
He's very thin and frail and out of shape. Oh.
Does he appear to be sore in any, like muscle sore or anything like that?
He has like a bit of a black eye. That's about it.
Okay. I pass along a small packet of root, and this might help with your energy.
Oh, thanks.
It'll
It's a
taste horrible though.
I didn't. I had already taken a giant bite right before he said that.
I have some questions for the party, actually, and it involves dark vision. Who has dark vision? Who does not?
As an elf, I have
Not
dark
have-
vision.
Goliaths do not have dark vision.
I didn't think so.
Nope.
Neither does Harringons.
Okay. I don't think Dragonborns do either, do they?
Do not think so.
Yeah, okay, I don't think so. And nor do humans. Okay. As you do approach the mouth of this cave, you can see that there is some vine overgrowth, not too heavy like it's preventing you from actually traversing in, at least yet. But after, I'd say, the first 15 or 20 feet in, it does become apparent that it's quite dark inside this cave.
With the vines growing, in front of the cave and stuff, not blocking our way as of yet, I will reach into one of my pouches and pull out a handful of powder and kind of dust the vines with this powder, and it should, shrivel them a little bit and cause them some minor harm, like they don't like it, and that they'll, over time possibly wither and die.
Okay.
And just trying to keep the
I
mouth
Some,
of the cave
do.
open.
I do have blind sight, but not dark vision.
okay. Little different.
How far out does your blind sight go, just out of curiosity?
10 feet.
Yeah.
Because it's got big old ears.
What's that root do?
It's just like a energy bar type thing. It doesn't do anything specific.
Okay.
It's a combination of, roots and powders and, caffeine.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
So,
It's a medieval
and
Red Bull, damn it.
how dark is this about to
Oh.
get in here?
I
After
don't even
cramming
think about
down.
the darkness. I just enter the cave.
You guys watch Mumbleman go in and just barely disappear out of sight. You can almost just catch the figure of him standing there, and this is where you're going to meet that wall of, I guess, initial coverage, Mumbleman, as you reach the one portion where all the vines have sort of begun to dangle from the ceiling and reach the ground, and they've really integrated themselves into the nooks and crannies of the rocks, sort of creating this blocked passage. but not enough that you can't see through. It's just enough to impede your.
Yeah, and I'm sprinkling that powder and stuff quite liberally around. I'm trying to, you know,
Okay.
maintain preventative maintenance, basically.
Okay, so everyone else here is also going to start to lose sight unless you choose to produce light for yourself.
Yeah, I'll light up a torch.
Okay.
I don't have a torch.
Oh, I see that I have your setting to dark vision. You do not have any dark vision at all. Sorry. But you will produce. What's a torch produce for bright? 5 feet bright. Ah, fuck.
I think it's 20 and 20.
Yeah, 20 bright, 20 dim, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. You are absolutely 20, and then I guess that would be 40 technically low. 20 feet low. Let's see. Okay. All right. Excuse me.
Should
Um,
Mumbleman be able to see fairly far at this point?
Since you're currently at the wall of vines right now, it's impeding your thing. I'm just waiting to get the token set up.
Okay, yeah.
Anyone else? Alter lights up a torch. You had sprinkled some of that stuff on there, and it does slowly start to twist. You can actually hear some of the knots and the gnarls start to. They're reacting quite poorly to whatever this acidic chemical that is that you've poured upon them. And it starts to branch open where you most likely can start to squeeze through, and it does reveal furthermore into the cave as the vines begin to sort of burn and twist out of the way.
So I, kind of twist my body sideways and slip through this row of vines as they're shrinking and whatnot.
Okay. And yes, Altair, you are the torch bearer. Unless someone else wishes to do the same.
Now, question. Can I cast Shillelagh on a torch since it's. Would that be considered like a club? Or is it completely different?
I would think that kind of works. Because you could use a torch as a weapon technically, right? And it's to cast it upon a weapon.
Yes.
Okay. So I think sure.
Okay.
While they were getting the torch set up, Barney had been outside scarfing down the root that he gave, that Mumbleman gave him. He was like, oh. Has taken some of his drink out, drinks it. This is up to the sun.
Okay.
You have to get a new one soon.
I'm
Comes back in
gonna
and
try to
chases them down
say
the hall. Oh, scam! Get far away.
Okay.
since I have blind sight, I'm gonna stay ahead of
Oh.
the light and
Okay.
just kind of stealthily go through.
Okay. You're moving in active stealth. If you wish to move stealthily, you can make a stealth roll, or you can just try to maintain your quietness. Pushing into the cave, you can reveal that it splits in two different directions. Directly before you is a bunch of overgrowth roots and large vines that reach from the top of the cavern to the bottom of the cavern. Now, in certain places, the height of this cavern ranges anywhere from 10 feet to 15, 20 feet, and then back down to 10. So even in some places lower than that, Bjorn, you have to sort of duck out of the way so you don't hit your head. But you can see crystalline formations that are protruding out of the side of the caves as you start to through.
Mumbleman with his constant, chatter and talk. If anybody's paying attention, starts talking to himself about rats and being attacked here once.
How big were the rats? Since you're so worried about rats.
How many?
He looks up confused and says, "Rats? What rats?"
Giant rats.
You just said you were attacked by rats.
Ah, That was before.
Sorry. But yes,
I look over at Bjorn. I'm like,
I'd say Goose, around this point, you start to move up and you see where there's a large break where a large root has protruded through the side of this cavern and start to overgrow and spread enough that it has created a large gap in the rocks in this area. And your blind sight starts to trigger a little bit as you sort of gaze down that where large trunk of this root that protrudes through. You can sense vibrations and movement near the base of it. And you sort of start to now hear that like sort of sound coming from the inside of that cave.
after we had that exchange with Mumbleman back here, I look at Bjorn and Altair, and I like have big eyes, like uh-oh, and I pull my sword and shield out already.
Mumbleman stops in his tracks and gets that kind of confused look again, where he's lost in thought.
Are we going the right way, old man?
That's a good question. I don't think we are. I think it's
So,
back the other way.
See, one rat scurries off, like almost falls off of one log, hits the ground, and then starts to scurry off down the cave.
Yeah, I haven't come this way in a long time. And I start backtracking.
You can see one comes out either looking for the other one or not, and then sort of takes note of everyone sitting there. Looks down the other way, looks back the other way, and then starts to just take off back inside the cave.
I stumble over a root but stay upright and start walking back.
I'll stay with beside, kind of behind Mumbleman in case he trips again. And because I'm just gonna follow him. I don't want to lead the wrong way.
You hear
This the right way?
a cacophony of squeaks, trills come out as emerging out of the cave, a fucking flurry of rats pour out and start to spread out and look. I'm not sure if Jesse, if Goose was following the party or if you were technically still standing there or not.
No, sir, sorry, I'm following the party.
Okay, so everyone who has left and sort of reached the corner of that has heard this from down that pathway that you just once came from. A cacophony of squeaks and trills starting to happen.
The rats, they're coming for us. And Mumbleman picks up his pace.
You said don't worry about the rats. Don't.
Well, that's why I stopped going down that way.
Ugh.
Then why'd you take us that way?
He looks at you with his blank look. I wish I knew.
Look. Okay, now I think you tell us how big and how many.
Well, it's a long time ago, but there was lots of them. And there was big ones, and I think there was a lot of small ones. Yeah, like you see all those rats back there?
No. No, I hate rats. I hate rats.
Okay, so right now they start to pour up and along the side of the walls, almost tripping up over top of each other. And you can see as they actually come into Altair's torchlight, there's about what looks to be maybe a handful, 6, 7, hard to tell. But they're flipping up over top of each other to sort of get to you, sort of trailing the sound of your voice through the cave. But they are encroaching upon you. I'm going to get initiative rolls from everyone, please, as they are about to begin to lash out towards you.
Can Barney have tripped backwards over on his ass into this rock right here to start combat?
Sure.
Sucks.
Yeah, Barney's like so startled. He's like, "Oh no, no rats!" And I'll do it here, so I'm closer. And I trip and slam into the rocks. Like, oh,
I do get a plus proficiency to my initiative.
Do you?
I do.
Oh, so then it would be an extra 2?
Yeah, so that would be 13.
Okay, I can change. There's that. Okay, sorry, I'm just. And yeah, fucking wasting natural 20s on initiative rolls, bullshit like this. But yes, Mumbleman, you turn back, sort of in your midst of your eccentric rambling, and you see this sort of wave of almost like moshing rats that just start trying to reach through, blind up until this point, now led by your distant torchlight and sound. They are starting to approach upon you, but you do get to react first in this moment.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
I'm gonna shift down here, and in the process of shifting, I'm gonna produce a ceramic tube from under my cloak, pointing it towards the rats, and tapping the end tapping the end firmly, and a gush of dark acidic fluid flies forth, coating everything in a 30-foot straight line. So I'm gonna try and hit these three basically.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say that probably within that 5, that's one click swing. So yeah, these 3 definitely can get that.
So
What does that deal for damage?
it is
Do
yeah,
each
2d4
creature?
acid damage.
Okay, so I'll do this cluster just because I want to do this right for the math of things. Wow, that's a pretty damn high dex roll for some rats. I believe that succeeds. Do they take anything on a success or half? Can't read quick.
No, they don't take any damage.
Okay, so yeah, they in the midst of their rolling mass towards you, they evade surprisingly in this moment of that initial burst of this caustic weapon.
I'm gonna use the rest of my movement to skedaddle.
Sure you can. Okay. Anything else that you'd like to do, Mumbleman?
No.
Okay. Next up, a couple of these rats are going to go. Altair, you watch a couple of them shoot over, one over by your feet, and then a second one over by your feet. And then Barney, these 2 here are going to rush over towards you. They are just going to make obvious little basic chomp attacks against you. This is on Altair. First one is a 13, second one's a 12. Dylan, does that hit your armor?
No.
No? Okay, so yeah, you start to evade, kick them off, and shake them off. Barney, these a 3 and a 14.
No.
No, okay.
I'm just trying to hide behind my little shield.
Were you prone?
Yeah, so they have advantage.
Okay. Just realized I said that. So the first one technically would be a 14, and the second one would be a 17.
Misses.
Miss. Okay, so both of those miss. But you are starting to deflect these rats that are lunging towards you, and you sort of put them up into the way, and they roll up, and you see them scramble to find their feet, and then it looks like they're ready to rush you again. Altair, you're up, followed by Goose.
Um, let's see. 1 second. Sorry. Try and.
Oh,
Hmm. I'll just. I guess I'll just attack the top one with my claws.
sure.
Um, would be
See them start to lunge towards your feet again and say,
Does a 10 hit?
a 10 just hits, and
Okay.
go ahead and roll your damage. They are not very strong creatures, if you could imagine.
4
And
damage.
the first claw strike against that one severs one of them and then actually launches across, hits the side of the cavern wall, and then hits the ground.
That is my turn.
Okay, Goose, you're up, followed by Barney.
Do I know if anybody has like alcohol on them?
I I wouldn't say that you were around for what Bjorn or Altair were doing prior to you. So as far as visibly, you don't see anything hanging off of them like that.
And you would have known that Barney ran out of what we had last night. Well, yeah, last night.
Gotcha.
Alcoholic
Can
beverages you don't see at this point.
can I do a little retcon from last session and have just like a little bit of whiskey on me or something?
If you wanted to buy some in town, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I would say probably yes, just because you weren't present to partake, as they did do a market part before they left. If you wanted to just mark off, I'm not sure if you rolled your gold or anything yet, but just mark off one for now, and we can get that with 1 gold to have bought alcoholic beverage.
Just generic Walmart brand alcoholic
Yeah,
beverage.
yeah.
This shit will get you drunk.
Who has the torch?
Altair currently holding the torch while batting away one rat that splats against the side of the cavern wall. What would you like to do?
Can I hmm can I don't want to take his torch, but I'd like to take a swig of whiskey and kind of like spit spit fire at some of these rats.
Okay, do you have a, like, this is you yourself trying to spit fire, or is this an ability of some sort?
Yeah, no, this is just me trying some off the wall
Okay,
shenanigans.
I would say angular, the one that you could probably get is the one that is closest to Altair, especially since he is holding the torch. Trying to angle it to reach, 30 feet away, different story. If you wanted to do that, that might have. Yeah, of course you can. So if you wish to try and spit alcohol through Altair's held torch towards the rats on the ground, you definitely can do so if you'd like.
Absolutely, I want to try that.
Yeah,
Can I at
sure,
least
man.
try to get these two that are like back to back, or not back to back, but like in line? So like, if I'm right, well, I can't move
Okay,
in your space.
work with me. Describe to me how you are going to attempt to. That way we can work off of that.
Okay. Uh,
This one's
I'm just
deadly.
gonna reach down and grab some whiskey with like I'm really practiced at drinking whiskey, so it's just like reflexive at this point. And with like just like some squirrel from Ice Age level like filled cheeks, I'm just gonna like put my hand on his torch, lean it towards me, and just like spew it out as far as I can.
Okay. And you're trying to get these ones that are close to Barney as well?
No, if
This one
I
here was the one that you smashed away.
oh, I didn't see that X on that one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. I'll try to like position myself like over here.
Okay, so you are going to try. Okay. How will I?
Well, okay, wait, sorry. Just so we're all on the same page, are you going for this just this one here? Or are you trying to hit all three
No,
of
he's
them?
trying to get this. Well, he wants to do this
Okay.
here.
Okay. Cool. Just want to make sure. We're on the same
As
page.
I see him pull out the bottle, I say, Bjorn, of course we found the alcoholics.
And as you say that, you
Wreck
see
them.
Goose just go, and it just blows fire. I Can you just roll a d20 for me, Jesse, and we'll see how well that roll goes to see how well the spray goes. Because I don't know what to add for any sort of modifier to this other than fucking winging it here. So, and I want to make it work. Okay, so I was going for it as a 10 as a base. The one by the feet here is definitely engulfed in the flames. Now, here's where it'll get interesting. Bjorn and Barney make dexterity saving throws, please.
Um,
And it's not like it's not as bad. And technically, you're still prone, so it would be a disadvantage, Barney.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, a 10 is literally what the threshold is. So you succeed on blocking yourself, especially you, Barney, with your shield in this moment, as the rats by your feet start to become engulfed in flames as well. Bjorn, mind you, you are drawn by this. At least we find the alcoholics, and you are just sort of, what the fuck, as you take. Go ahead and roll 1d4 fire damage as well, Jesse, please. These ones are toast, and toast. Bjorn, you take 3 points of fire damage from this incident, as the conical effect of this has sort of goose a little bit more of your surprise, but in the moment, this reaction didn't kill a bunch of rats, but it also caught one of your fellow party members, the biggest one at that. You're not ablaze or anything either, Bjorn. You suffered some damage from reaction attack here. Okay. How'd that? But yes, successfully charring some of these ones, but maybe some friendly fire there in the midst of that. Anything else you'd like to do?
Oh, Gustav just kind of looks around, surprised that worked, and he looks at everyone and was like, that'll wake your granny in the morning, eh?
In that moment as well, after that, these three tear off. You see it, and they flee after that burst of flame. It just sends them off.
Well done, Goose Fat.
So from Barney's perspective, for this whole fight here, someone goes, rats! He turns around, starts stumbling backwards, slams his head off this. When he looks up, two rats are diving at him, so he just hides behind his shield. They slam off it, and then a big ball of fire hits his shield. And he looks over the top of his shield, and he goes, oh, thank the Lord. Thank you. Oh, oh my God. Oh.
Bjorn kind of reaches down and like wipes off his boots a little bit and takes a big step over here, gets right in Goose Fat's face and squats down in his face. Really? You have to try to burn me?
Mumbleman comes forward and, under his breath, not that bad. And then a little louder, he passes you a vial and says, "Here, take this. It'll help with the burn."
Just swing it.
Oh no! It's for outside application.
Oh my God! So awesome.
He eats glue. Just
Bjorn, you swing this vial back, and it's like the most bitter. It's like chewing an acorn. Just ugh! You should make a con, please. And then as soon as that taste kicks in, you hear Mumbleman say it's an external sort of use, but you don't yak, you hold it back and
Mumbleman grabs your hand at the wrist and is like feeling your pulse. At the same time, he's looking in your eyes rather intently. Not sure.
Like wiping it off my tongue. Why would you give me something in a vial and then wait until I drink it to say external use?
Well, cause it's a salve.
You didn't read this. You didn't read the small print. It says keep away from children and for external use only.
And he pulls out another one that looks exactly the same, and he sticks his finger in the vial and pulls out a bit of salve, and he starts rubbing down your burn spots.
That's hilarious. That's like exactly what we talked about.
I know a place that kind of service will cost you a gold coin.
And I'm not sure. Oh, okay, yeah, sorry, it did work the first time. So yeah, you regain
Heal us.
your couple of hit points that you lost.
Yay, back at
And then you see the vial that he stuck his finger in is empty. As well as the one that you chugged, he grabs back from you and says, "I'm gonna need that back." And he looks at it and he pulls a cloth from his belt and he kind of squeezes it out and cleans it up a little bit.
like got this wad of paste in my hand right now, and I just kind of shake it off onto the ground. I look over at Altir and I'm like, either the drunks or the old man are going to kill me.
I haven't killed anyone in at least 3 decades, okay? It might be longer than that. I'm not so good with time. And he turns around and just walks away. Starts mumbling to himself some more.
And I'll walk up behind Goose Fat and say it again. Next time, don't burn me. I don't like fire.
Well, I wasn't aiming for you, you lump of a man. I was aiming for the wee tiny squeakers.
You have a sword for an arm.
Aye, and I'll have you know I'm not in the best shape. If I could give you a shape I'm in from like level 1 to 20, I would say I'm about a 1. So that lets me just do 1 poke. This way I did 3 hot pokes, if you get my drift.
Bjorn doesn't say this, but in his head, he's just like, I ought to skewer the rabbit and we'd have rabbit tonight.
Oh, yeah, and I could lump off a toe and we'd eat troll for weeks. So wait, you're not the troll?
Mumbleman hits another decision here on left or right, and he's looking like, which way do I
I
go?
yelled
Which way
back.
do we go?
You
Altir,
sort of
I'll
look
come.
left here, Mumbleman. This is another protrusion of a large route that breaks through into the cavern. Not necessarily a direction in which you can travel.
Oh yeah, this way, this way. Follow me, follow me.
Barney had been laying on the ground with his eyes closed, like his eyes kind of shut lightly. And then when the light started fading away from his eyes, he's like, gets up. He's like, "Oh crap, gotta go."
The pool
Taking
should
deep
be
breaths.
ahead.
Oh,
Do I need
That's
to re-roll that stealth check?
no, that's just going to carry on go through. But you do get to this point here. Path begins to narrow. You see the large overgrowth of the roots that are starting to protrude through the cavern. It does branch off and go into a different direction here again. But you can see where it immediately ends. But there's a large overgrowth of just a number of different colored plants and other things too in here.
I rush over to the plants and do a bit of harvesting.
Okay. Make a survival or nature check.
Are they
Oh, there.
any of the plants we need?
There's some familiar that I guess Barney would recognize from some of the things that he's grabbed before. But you bearing the torch as well sort of light up the vicinity, really revealing a lot of this altar. But Mumbleman begins to just start to tear into different bulbs and stalks from different things. Yeah, 18 for sure. You get a number of bulbs, and I'd say probably 4 bulbs 10 leaves, Mumbleman, in that quick grab of your check there.
Yep.
And we can go over what they are later.
Are they on the harvester list for the other guys though?
You're not sure.
Okay.
Barney was watching over your shoulder, like, whoa.
And yeah, you kind of
Whoa.
get an idea on how that stuff is harvested a little bit. You're not going to be as good as me or as quick, but you see how
You're pretty.
I cut an extra leaf and the 4 bulbs are all packed in it, and it gets stuffed down in one of my backpack.
You're a little
Very
guy,
good,
man.
very good.
Yeah.
And like the stalks of stuff, or sorry, the leaves, I stack them in a stack, and then fold this way, fold that way, and there's no crunching or breaking. They just kind of come together into a much smaller packet.
I see. Flexing
You're
your
all.
alchemical skills here.
When Mumbleman's all done, Barry pats on the back. He's like, "Man, you're pretty good at that." I tried a little bit of that myself while we were on our adventure, and I show you I open my pack to this absolutely horribly packed, just butchered
Oh,
monstrosity
you've
of
killed it. That
plants.
won't last more than in 2 days. If you do that properly, you can get them to last for a week, and then if you water them, you can even extend that a little bit longer. And
I
now
mean,
he's
I
full
see where you
on.
were going, what you were doing. It was.
He's full on into a
How'd you do that thing?
Mumbleman lecture, just so you know.
Yeah,
You're
and
asking
Barry's
questions,
actually
and
interested. He's asking questions, so he'll
you're
pump you.
asking questions, and some he answers, other he just ignores, and is like repeating this stuff like rote, like he said it a million times before.
Barry's like a guy at a bar that you met that will just listen to you talk all night long. He's just like, oh, wow, really funny.
I'm filing that away. You're gonna regret that.
Sort of sound sort of comes from around the corner as you reach that point before it fades away and goes quiet again.
That weird sound.
I see these bulbs under us, and I try to run over there and get them before Bumbleman does. Mumbleman.
Okay. Give me a nature or survival check to try and grab some of those real quick. Oh, damn. Okay. And in your haste, you just precision comes and pull the stalks away from these 4 things, and it pulls up the bulb in that same fell. It's almost like pulling a lily out of the ground. And it just pops right. You're like, holy shit, yes. Whether it just be shallow dirt or whatever it is here, but you got 3 from that cluster of stalk and root.
And Mumbleman like stops in his tracks and he looks over in dead silence with this absolutely stunned expression on his face, going, but that's got to be luck.
So you said 3 like stalks, bulbs, roots, everything
Yeah.
of unknown plant.
Of unknown. Yeah, you haven't quite gotten the.
I'll ask Mumbleman what is this plant called.
I give
Got
him
some like
like
long
4
lost name for
different
it that hasn't
names.
been heard in a year or 100 years.
I call it the purple bulb, and I know somebody else that calls it the giant leaf, and it's useful, and I start naming uses for it, and that salve that he just you're supposed to put on stuff and not actually drink. Um, I use it in that, and I think it smells pretty too.
Okay.
In that
Yours, but
rumble that I give him an actual name he would recognize.
she says, but it tastes like shit.
Hold on, I just need to flip the page really quick here. That would be you can write down curare. Matt.
Uh,
Curare. That would be the one, James.
Yep.
Goose, you get to the foot of sort of pond in the middle of this cave, and you can see there are stalactites from the ceiling. Mites? Tights? One of the two. And it's been dripping down into this puddle, but you can see besides the plant overgrowth on the pond, the middle of it is quite deep. And as the light gets closer from the torch, you can actually reveal the darker water versus the shallow water along the edge.
Everybody can
But there you
swim,
go.
right?
Pardon?
Said everybody can swim, right? And Mumbleman starts taking equipment and stuff off and stacking it in a pile.
What do you mean by everybody can swim?
Well, I'm gonna, give you a potion so you can, or this thing that allows you to breathe underwater for a bit, and then we're gonna go through, and then when we come up on the other side, that's where I need your help.
I'd also like to collect the stalks and bulbs and everything from the two groups of other plants around here.
Sure. I
Uh,
would say in this moment, just this map in particular, you're carrying your roll through. You will harvest some good shit in here, Altair.
okay.
But
So-
there'll be a slight limitation on what you can gather, just for what would be, I guess, resource sake.
okay.
So I would say carrying through, you do grab flowers off of this weird cacti that grows in here, a bunch more leaves. I'd say we'll cap it, say 5 more leaves and 2 cactus flowers. And then some of the things that you start to go in here are either not in bloom yet or aren't quite ripe enough to deem takeable, worthy of taking yet.
So Mumbleman is stripped down to his skivvies, but he has his belt on with a short sword, and there's 4 or 5 pouches hanging off the belt that are they look like leather, but they're like treated with something. It's like shiny and water resistant, basically.
I
Kind of
I asked
fastens his bow to him.
Mumbleman,
And
do you have any way to produce light?
Um.
Because we all can't see except you.
Oh. Well, that might be a problem. Um. I can. And he starts leafing through his the stuff that he set aside. And he's like, and starts mumbling to himself, and he's like, black powder and CV worm guts and what's that other thing? Oh yeah, here it is. It's like won't be a lot of light, but I can make like a little glowy light.
As long as we can see where we're going.
Well, it'll be dim, not bright as torchlight. Um, but it should give us a little bit. That and I can see and I can point things out to you if you need.
Okay.
So I actually
Mhm.
Cody, can I
Yeah.
mix a little bit of this up and put it into um uh not a glass vial but a glass jar,
Okay.
um and produce like a 10 or a 15-foot glowing substance?
Sure.
Um, I, while he does this, my character literally just strips down completely naked because he only had 2 pieces of clothes on anyway, and he just has a staff and a bag as well. That's all he has.
What are you doing with your shillelagh torch?
Um, I just leave the I guess I probably just prop the torch up and leave the light on this side of the water, so
How
we at
long?
least have a
Yeah.
point of light to go back.
How long have we been in the cave for now?
I'd say probably pushing like 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes.
Okay. Out of my stuff, I do produce a torch and light a second torch. And just stick it in the ground here as well to provide some extra light as well as burning time.
Okay, I can do that. I was granting a little bit of, I'm not going to say leniency through the magical use of the torch, which would do that, but I'll just do this real quick.
Because torches last about an hour.
Yeah, that's what it's like. I'm just going to make this little tiny fire over here emit torch and set it on the ground.
And I did forget that I can produce a little, like a 5-foot light, I believe, but with my alchemy and stuff, I do like the idea of a 15-foot glow if you'll let me do that.
Yeah. No, I agree with that concoction that you've come up with. You need something here. But yes, in that jar you do have such a little tiny glow jar as well. But then yeah, Altair, you prop yours up on the dirt there as well.
Well, Mumbleman was explaining that we have to go underwater after Barry was like, oh, "What do you mean it's swimming?" Barry's just like rubbing his eyebrows, like, "Oh." And then when he says he's gonna make potions for us to see, he's just like,
And not to
"Oh,
see, so you
he's
can breathe
always
underwater.
yeah."
Because
Well, you had to make something so we can see now too, right?
yeah.
He's like, "Oh, he said always ask information. Information is key." Barry's just like knocking on his forehead. And then just starts stripping down. He has to leave his shield behind because it's wooden, so he can't take it underwater. So he's just gonna go short sword and like short and pants.
Okay.
Just pack everything into his bag.
Okay.
Okay. I grab a package and unroll it, and in this package there are 10 small pottery containers. It's like I only have enough for us to go over, and then another dose for us to come back. So this is something when you open it, you need to drink it right away because it'll lose potency the longer it's exposed to air. And then we need to dive into the pool and swim across to the other side.
I'm glad you said drink it, because to be funny, I was gonna rub it all over my body because of the last one.
No, I kind of took that in consideration, but I know I've got a limited supply, so this is one thing where he's like, because it's unusual and a little um above basic level, in that he explains rather thoroughly, and it's interesting because he goes from like the Mumbleman, um, blah 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 blah, to like this is very clear and concise, and like not something you've seen from him before. He's very instructional and knowledgeable, and sounds confident, and there is the voice is strong and steady and stern.
Bjorn gets stark naked, like takes everything off and neatly puts it in a pile. Kind of tucks his bow underneath everything so it can't be seen easily. Okay, let us drink and swim.
Okay. Who's helming this?
Look over at Mumbleman. You have the light. You gotta
Well,
go first.
No,
We follow.
I'm passing the light off to somebody. I don't need the light, so somebody else should have it.
Goosefat will take it.
We don't know where we're going under there.
Well, then, yeah, you can follow me. I've done this before. I know exactly where I'm going as he looks around. Yeah, I know exactly.
All right, well, let's pass this stuff around and get ready to swig it.
So yeah, I pass each
How long?
person a vial and say, remember, as soon as you take the cork out, drink it quickly.
Okay.
And I drink it and do a cannonball into this pool.
Okay.
Pop the cork, swig it, and jump in.
Mumbleman, very easy for you to do, especially since you can see. You pull yourself down. You go down about 10 feet, 15 feet, and then it begins to go through the cave in which you're familiar with. Who follows Mumbleman next?
I'm just floating on top of the water, waiting for Goose Fat to get in since he has the light.
Yeah, I
Okay.
chug mine and wait for goose fat.
I'll probably go in second because maybe I might produce a light they could see underwater since my character has like a radiant eyes and a radiant like heart. I guess
Okay. Okay, no, that's cool, man.
at
That's
least
cool. I like
to
that.
I guess like doesn't really produce light, but it's kind of like a firefly type light.
What I'm gonna say with that, give me a perception check, please.
Me?
Yes, Altair. You jump in after Mumbleman and begin to swim down, and you start to rely on your natural glow. Okay, 10. What you do and notice is you hear the kicking and sort of thrashing of Mumbleman sort of beginning to swim, and you sort of follow that noise. And every so often, you catch a glint from the reflection of your core and eyes off of the base of his feet or off of some of his oil-soaked belongings, and it allows you to travel behind Mumbleman without much issue. Bjorn, since you're already in the water, you watch Altair begin to dive down, and you eventually lose sight of his natural glow before the rest of the party begins to follow suit. Who else? Who goes next after Altair?
Goose Fat will go next.
Okay, sweet. So Goose, you jump in. Water is not super cold. But you do float down, and you have this jar that you're sort of clutching as well. Describe to me how well Goose swims sword arm while clutching a jar.
Great, because he's holding the jar with his ears.
Okay, fair. All right.
Oh, it's better than the
Give me a
alternative.
second
He's
to come up with
propelling
that
himself
one.
with his ears.
I was waiting for something here because I was like, "Well, this will be interesting." If it's just like, and then I'm like, "Well, rabbits have good, like, strong legs, so I'm some kind of a counteract." You guys see the glow of the jar that is being held by Goose, jump in, and you can see him sort of realize for a moment before he sort of clutches it in his ears, wraps tight, and then dives down and in. You all start to begin to float and
I'm
follow behind.
I'm curious, Goose Fat. What color is the glow from the jar?
Oddly enough, it's like a big black light. Like you can tell it's lighting things up, but you don't know how or why. And for some reason, like all kinds of splotches are glowing on Goose Fat's body.
Okay, yeah, so it's like a black light. Certain things give off a lot of light, other
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
just sucks it in. I like that.
yeah, cool. Cool. But Barney and Bjorn, you see the light begin to fade as you see the light reach the bottom and then start to disappear as they start to enter into some sort of little cave.
I am gonna mention time to you, Cody.
Yeah, yeah, no, I know. I see that.
Okay.
Barney and Bjorn, do you guys follow?
Yeah, I'm right
Yeah,
behind
yeah,
Goose Fat.
I follow with Bjorn. Just keep
Who,
following the light.
who goes after Goose?
I would dive down right after
Okay,
he went in the water.
okay. So, carrying on, we have a little bit of a marching order through this underwater cave. So, you guys all feel the effect of this potion take hold, and it's almost like you have this very strong urge to belch. Almost like that bubble of air is right at the back of your throat, ready to be released, but it doesn't. But in that moment, you realize as you're underwater that, strangely enough, you can fucking breathe under here. And it's a very unique sensation to get over. You haven't experienced such a thing yet. Mumbleman, without problem and familiarity, you just start to swim through. And, you're smaller. You don't seem to face a lot of the struggles of pushing yourself through, especially when you reach the horizontal section of the cave and you begin to actually just clutch sides of the rock and pull yourself through. And you can see, no problem. Altair, you have that little bit of trail glimpse sound that you're working off of to get through before you sort of glance backwards and see the underwater light of something starting to come up behind you. But you turn forward and keep going. It gets a bit precarious and squeezy at certain spots, especially for your height, Altair. But you slide through no problem and sort of slender and lithe. Goose, you get through here as well, clinging your sword arm off of the rock every so often as you trail through and realize you're like, okay, it's getting tighter and tighter and through here. Bjorn, you follow behind Goose, and your 8-foot form is starting to see some complications in the size of the cavern that you go in. And you notice that as you go down, sort of lose the sight of Goose for a minute and then get to the depth where you can see into the cave again. And as you start to go, you start to realize the narrowing effect as it's starting to sort of cinch up on you a bit. I need you to make an athletics check to pull yourself through here, or you run the risk of potentially wedging yourself. 7. You start to realize, and as Goose is fading away, Barney especially, you bump into a soft form of Bjorn, and the feet are beginning to sort of kick, not find purchase, and you realize that Bjorn possibly is stuck. Bjorn, you realize that you are mildly wedged in this small cavern under. What would you like to do?
Do I notice this little holdup?
Not initially, but Bjorn, what do you do in the moment of reaction, realizing that you're sort of starting to get stuck here?
And like try to push my way through.
Okay. I would say at this point, Goose, you stop to look back. I would say also in this Mumbleman, you emerge up onto the opposite side, followed by Altair about 5-10 seconds later. You two emerge on the opposite side of this pool. Goose, you turn back to see Bjorn, and as you sort of get closer with your light, this odd illumination of his sort of hulking upper body trying to like find some to really push himself off, and as soon as he finds somewhere, he slips off, grabs and slips off. Barney, you realize that Bjorn is now stuck as well. As much as you can't really see anything, as you try to swim forward, you are met, almost kicked by his feet as he's thrashing.
Yeah, Barney will back up when he realizes his feet are there, and he'll just hold on to like an edge. And
Okay.
just kind of wait. And if I notice the light is, if he notices the light is starting to go, Barney will like try to shut his eyes and
Okay.
hold it for like 30 seconds to see if he can adjust to the light a little bit, so he's not
You
just
catch
completely blind when the light's gone.
you catch a little bit of the light past some of the cracks that Bjorn is now taking up most of the space in this one area in particular. It looks like Goose has turned around underwater.
Well,
Goose,
I'll
what
figure
would you
that out in
like?
about 30 seconds.
Uh, can I put my? Mm, can I try to like start chipping away around like where Bjorn is stuck with my
Sure.
little pick fist?
Okay. So you're going to try and chip away at where he is?
Yeah, like the rocks or the wall that's like holding him back. I want to try to like chip it away to give him some room to kind of leverage
Okay.
himself out.
Okay, sweet. Now, Bjorn, what are you going to do? You can see that Goose has come back to try and aid you, and he's looking like he's trying to chip away at some of the areas that are really crunching down on you.
Try to see if I can like wiggle one of my arms up ahead of me, grab a hold of something to kind of pull myself forward more.
Okay, so you have Goose that has provided aid in the moment, which has lowered the DC of your reattempt, although the DC is naturally higher on a second attempt. So if you want to make an athletics check again, you can.
Now,
Um,
as Goliath with having the what, large stature. Everything push and pull, I think I have like advantage on.
Push, pull, and drag as far as encumbrance.
I don't think it's just encumbrance. Um,
I know Goliaths have a strong build, which makes them one size class larger when they're trying to pull things or push things.
It's you have precision athletics. You count as one size larger when determining carrying capacity, and the weight you can push, drag, and lift. Yeah, so
Right.
it does nothing. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, like in this moment, it's your large size that has got you in this predicament. So I don't think there's advantage in this moment. Although again, it has the assistance from Goose has lowered this DC. So if you wish to roll an athletics check again, you can.
So if I just click the athletic skill, it does the roll. That's what I did.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. This time around, you realize that the angle in which your shoulders were going through, it's strange to react differently when you start to not, I'm not going to say panic, but that moment where it starts to kick in potentially, you push backward and realize that, oh, and then you thunk down, and Goose, you see Bjorn dislodge, but three of you now notice, and then obviously Barney, you would notice as Bjorn begins to now move through, the effect of your potion beginning to wear off.
I give Bjorn a little friendly cheek slap, like I'm his grandpa, just like a little double tap on his cheek, and start swimming in the original direction.
Okay. Barney, you feel the rush of movement, and then you can see the glow if you open your eyes from Goose's light as they begin to now sort of rush to catch up and get through the rest of the cavern. And then you emerge. Let me readjust so that I may have to lights again. Goose has. You have the jar, which is a 15-foot glow of low. There's that. Okay. I believe that's what you can see. Right. Oh, see, yeah, you're emitting. That's on. Okay. That's better. So, yes, now Bjorn and Barney emerge up through this pond water. Mumbleman and Altair, you see after about 2 minutes of question here of them not popping up, to them now all just emerging as a group of three. And it is quite dark in here.
When they emerge and the glow comes up, as Barney climbs out of the water, I pass him an item. It is just it's another little vial, but it's not glowing. There's actual light emitting from it, but only in a 5-foot radius. So
Okay.
I put it up there. It's 5-foot radius light. I don't know if you want to call that bright light with some dim light around it or what.
Sure.
But I forgot I could do that.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so there is a small amount of glow coming from the jar that Goose Fat is holding, and now a small sort of glow stick vial that produced by Mumbleman to Barney in this moment. And I would say, Goose, your blind sight work. But yes, before you can see another cavern, and in here there's a lot of overgrowth. Mumbleman, this is the area where you have ventured to many times. Now, before you, right here, is a large sort of gnarled wall of vine and root, which blocks off the remainder of this cave. If I can, I'd like to take a small 5-10 minute break here, guys. I just realized, again, you reminded me of the time and then I forgot. So if we can, and if I may, I'm gonna go say goodnight to my wife, and I will be back in like 5-10 minutes. Okay, guys?
Sounds good.
Sounds
Okay,
good.
and then we will deal with gnarled wall. Okay.
Let's go.
Alrighty then.
All right, Mama Man, what is it you need help with?
Okay, so yes, with the dim light for you, you can see Bjorn, especially this large wall. It's probably a bit taller than you are. That's kind of impeding passage past here, and you can tell by how twisted and gnarled these roots and vines are together that it has been like this for quite a while. Enough that it has grown to this tight structure here. But you do still see the occasional crack through, which does present beyond that, but I just can't.
I reach into my pouch and I throw some powder at it, and it barely reacts at all. And it's like, it's too thick. I can't kill it, and I can't get it squeezed through. And we need to get to the other side. And I'm not strong enough. And maybe you can break some off or chop some down, or this is what I need help with.
All right, so is it just vines or is it like boulders?
Nope, it is all just plant overgrowth, but it is pretty. Some of them are pretty thick stalks.
Okay.
So you basically needed some landscapers.
I
Oh yeah,
want to go up to it and start grabbing it and just pulling down.
awesome.
Start
Okay,
ripping me off.
so
I
give
pull out
me
my axe.
some athletics checks for pulling that off, and those who wish to, take the melee approach as well can do so. With Barney producing an axe, you begin to start to chip away at some of it.
I will try and help Goose Fat with whatever he's doing.
Okay. Bjorn, you grab a section of one, and it sort of you break off one, 4-foot section of hard vine here before you clutch some more and begin to do the same. You realize some of these thicker ones, especially, are a bit harder to get through, or at least giving you a bit of a challenge here.
Make another roll.
Yeah, absolutely. And you keep going through, pulling off more. I'd say probably 10 to 15 minutes, especially, Barney, you move up, start hacking at some areas, and you start to create a system, weaken some areas. Bjorn comes over, rips off a chunk. Mumbleman, you getting excited because you're starting to reveal some of the other side of it for the first time since you've been in here. And, after I said 15 or so minutes, you do produce enough of an area that you've worked where. Okay, so one sec with your rolling there. Barney, can you roll a d20 for me, please? And is that for the axe? Sorry, you're doing this with
Yeah, that's the axe.
Okay. Well, damn. Okay. Well, the axe does not break, although you do feel in that moment, especially dislodging the axe from your last chop, the handle is starting to become quite loose towards the head of the axe. But you're realizing this before you really yank it and break your handle. You sort of wedge it out gently and go, "Oh fuck!" You can see the durability is slightly compromised with your axe.
Okay, I'll put it away and I'll realize that I've developed some blisters, and I'll wrap my hand up, and then I'll take my knife out and just start cutting
Okay, it'd
some
be right
smaller
around this
stuff.
time. Bjorn and Goose and everyone else has sort of worked together to create an opening, probably large enough for Bjorn to slide through on his side, like squeeze through.
Okay, as my anxiety over getting past this point leaves my body, I feel that bubble in the back of my throat kind of shift, and I let out a belch that just, because of the new hole and stuff, just echoes throughout this whole cavern.
Yeah, it does. And you do, and it gets that like second echo reverberate of that. You can almost like feeling breeze as well as you sort of face through the opening that you've created here and reveals the rest of the cave beyond that. You can see for the first time Mumbleman just beyond and out of sight. It does go in for a good while, and you actually lose sight in the caves. Pretty large opening compared to some of the other areas.
Come on, come on! Mumbleman's excited now.
You all start to press through into darkness. Now you have Barney with his small vial creating some light, and you have Goose with the jar that is still producing a small dim light, which is aiding some of those lesser sighted in this moment. But Mumbleman, you're sort of pushing through, and you start to see heavy roots and vines that are protruding through another sort of crack in the large cavern wall. There are a number of overgrowth, crystalline formations that are protruding up from the ground. It is, and it opens into a fairly large chamber here compared to where you had come from.
Wow, it's really changed in here.
You've never been in here.
No, I haven't been able to get in here for quite some time. I need, especially if I'm gonna make it that mushroom potion, I need to get some stuff from here.
What was that sound I just heard?
Whether it be wind or something else, but you hear that same sound that you had heard before, sort of sourcelessly from inside somewhere before the echo fades and it's quiet again.
Can we get the materials you need and go?
Yeah, it's just this way.
Ever since the thing in the back of our throat's been going, Barney's had the hiccups, so he hasn't really heard that noise. He's just kind of obliviously walking behind.
How long were your potions last?
Not very long. Like just a few minutes getting past the swimming.
Okay, everyone would feel that burst well and that relief of that potion effect sort of waning on. That would have been even before you got through the wall.
Barney's been fighting these hiccups in the back for a while. If you ever look back, he's like been holding his breath. So
Goose, Bjorn, Mumbleman moving forward. The path begins to narrow from the chamber that you once were in, and you can see different colored overgrowth that creeps up along the side of the walls. Then you start to get that wet caverns roughly here where you can see some of the walls are saturated with water and have that mildew sort of overgrowth on it from long time running.
Yes, this way. I remember now.
Anyone doing anything in particular as you travel through this cave, or are you just keeping sharp eyes?
I guess.
Yeah, just keeping an eye out.
Yeah, because I'm blind.
I'm always looking for crystals, so.
Okay. There is large ones that you do pass by here, and I'd say probably at this point your familiarity with some of the formations is, you've studied and have been taught through your years of training that a lot of the, I would say, opaque crystals or of the green, red, and yellow nature are typically derived from the queen. So you sort of take note of a lot of these formations that you push through, and they're intriguing, but none of them possess any form of radiance or glow or anything like that as you move through here.
Okay.
You get to roughly this point, Mumbleman, as on your right-hand side, for a brief moment, in the side of this rock, it almost illuminates as you pass by, and it's enough in your periphery to catch your attention for a second, and you look, and you can see some form of natural light either making its way or is reflecting through one of the tiny cracks in the wall, whether it be from the exterior or something else, you're not sure. But it's enough to just sort of the glint to catch your eye for a second.
Ah, forward. Need to get this stuff.
Up ahead, roughly about here, you see a few rocks dislodge from the upper part of the, hit the wall and then roll down and then come to rest.
I grab out Mumbleby's pack and like kind of throw him behind me.
You guys all sort of
Okay.
freeze in this moment as that happens, and you see the rocks have completely come to rest against the overgrowth and it's on the ground. And you start to scan around, you don't see anything, or you don't see or hear anything further. But Mumbleman, you are yanked off, not off your feet, but enough to be sort of forced backwards in this moment.
I'm sure it's nothing.
You sure
And
about
even
that?
if it's something, we need this to make the moss rot potion.
Alright. Let me just scout ahead a little bit. Which way were those rocks sliding from again?
They fell from this part here and then have come to rest around here.
Can I make a new stealth check to kind of go check this out?
Of course you can. Stealth check from Goose. It's pretty good. So you begin to skulk up towards that, feeling pretty confident, not making a sound as you sort of progress through. What are you looking for? Sauces?
Just any kind of irregularities, traps, just a general,
Okay.
ranger scouting.
Indeed. And you begin to indeed scan the area, begin looking around. Still possess the jar enough to start to illuminate some of the area around, even though as quiet as you're being. The illumination reveals the fresh rubble that has sort of come to rest here. But you don't see anything. You sort of look up, you look sideways, look around. You don't see anything that caused it. With just loose rocks in the cave, you're unsure.
Does Bjorn still have a grip on Mumbleman? Or was it somebody else that did?
That was goose fat.
Okay.
I shout back, all clear.
And yeah, it looks pretty clear. And even though, the goose scout ahead, he doesn't seem to reveal anything in this moment.
I'm gonna stay away from this edge where the rocks were falling down and head this way.
Okay. And yeah, this is all starting to strike memory, Mumbleman, as you're pushing through here.
Have I ever experienced like rocks and stuff falling in the past?
Roll a d20.
Oh.
Damn. No, you have not. So new occurrence for you in this part of the cave, especially.
I'm talking to myself. Wonder if it's unstable in here now. Maybe the growth of the vines and the roots? Nah, that can't be it. And I'm going through like half a dozen different variations on what I think could be the issue. But
Yeah,
if there is an actual issue, I'm way off base.
yeah, unfamiliar to you and not a normal occurrence. But it's been a while since we've been in here.
Are these vines that like crawl up and over the walls of this
Oh yeah,
cave? Are they traversable?
they very much so are, especially in most cases, as they seem to be everywhere, especially in their protrusions. Um, they wrap all up around the ceiling and the walls in some areas enough to even encompass the floor. But if you don't see them on the ground, then they lack from that area.
All right. Can I hand this jar off to Mumbles? And then
Yeah.
just using my blind sense, I'll just kind of like, again, not to be a broken record, just an overwatch
Yep.
up in the vines.
Okay. I would say coincidentally, you do reach a point probably about 10 feet away where the roots will give way, but you can continue to do that when you start to see them again.
As
Gotcha.
soon yeah, as soon as I see my destination and the thing I'm looking for, I will run and dash right towards it. Just so you know.
Okay. Yeah, you know it to be sort of near the say, dead end of this part, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, Goosepack also handed jar, glowy jar as well.
I shake it and the light goes out and I stuff it in the back in a pouch. Careful to seal the top of the pouch up, and so if I do go back in the water, that it doesn't leak.
Sure. Okay, you guys lose a bit of the glow from in the moment as he hands the jar back to Mumbleman and then he puts it away. Which makes, for the people who cannot see, other than Goose relying on their blind sight, that Barney are the only one with light emitting currently.
So where we're at, can I tell if there's any like flint rock?
Give me a perception check, please. See a lot of thick granite and marble in some of these areas. Maybe even some pyrite, possibly that's intertwined into some of it. But what you start to notice is where some of the eroded rock is, it might be enough to strike from, although the structure of the rock in here is quite integral. As in, like, there's not just loose pieces of, say, like a striker stone size piece that's just readily available. But with the right thought process involved, you might be able to strike something from the wall in here. Although you'd have to find a dry spot.
None of the roots are dry or anything. They're all
Since you've reached, I'd say probably about 50, 60 feet back, this area is starting to become a bit saturated in cave moisture. So some of the roots, even at first touch, are moist, fucking moist, but the fuck wet to the touch, and then it'd take you a little bit, especially not seeing so well. You could try to find some. It would take a bit of collaboration.
Barney. You help me find some dry, like a dry stick. I'm gonna try to see if we could maybe fashion together a little bit of a torch.
I take the axe out and I hand it to you, and I go, I think we need a new handle anyway.
Like you're sacrificing your axe, or
And the busts out the handle, cutting all those roots. I think we need to get a new one made.
You can just mend it.
I don't know what that is.
I guess I grab the axe and cast mending on it.
Okay. You can see it does indeed repair some of it. It will most likely take a couple, maybe a few applications of it to really restore it back to striking use.
Oh, that was
Which,
I'm
you
amazing.
gonna
know,
search around, try to find a dry piece of stick.
I'll
Okay.
keep mending it then.
I'll stay with you.
okay, you guys
Light.
realize, Altair, Mumbleman, and Goose realize that Barney and Bjorn have stopped and they're sort of talking to each other, probably about 20 or so feet back. Barney, you hand Mumbleman Bjorn the repaired axe while holding the light. And describe to me, Bjorn, what you are looking to accomplish here. Looking for dried pieces of wood?
Yeah, I want to take dry wood and kind of crack open the top of one of them a little bit and weave some of the drier pieces in the center of it to give like a small little. It's a quick and dirty torch
Right.
that you can make in the wilderness, and set it against one of the rocks that I know will strike, and take the axe and kind of scrape the axe against the rock to create sparks.
Okay, awesome, man. And indeed, I'd say just give me a survival check. And it's the pretty awesome description as well. I like that. You realize the axe it's taking a long time. It's not so much that, it's just trying to find a non-saturated piece of rock to really make the sparks ignite. You did well with creating your torch, and you have created dry sections of it enough to try and light, but it's the and after a couple minutes of striking the axe, it's just not producing enough spark to catch the tinder on it, and it doesn't ignite. And you're also creating a bit of a ruckus moment when you hear up ahead just of persistence really coming through, but with no results.
Mumbleman's gone into one of those phases where he's just staring off into the distance again, lost in thought and memory. So he doesn't even
Guys, I
hear
was
the sound. He's
trying
just standing still with a goofy look on his face.
to make us some light. Somebody got anything else? Try to a way to dry stuff off.
Nope.
I don't.
I left everything in front of the water.
Yep.
For my like bouncing around with all these vines, are there like drier vines that would be useful?
It hasn't so much been an issue with the dried vines as it's been the source of ignition. You can see that Bjorn's been struggling to ignite with the flint rock, the top of the torch. So it's just either too saturated or something else is preventing the source from igniting.
Gotcha. Goose Fat just kind of drops down, seemingly out of nowhere in the dark, and goes, "Here, this might help a little bit." And he hands off his off-brand 100 proof Walmart General Alcohol.
Sweet. Okay. What
Appreciate
do
it.
you, what do you do with said alcohol?
Do we have like some tinder that we're trying to strike up?
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, with that you create a plausibility for your persistence. So you do soak the end of it in a little bit of that Walmart whiskey there, and you can definitely try again with your survival check mission. In about 30 seconds, whether it just be from the constant trying before, but enough of a spark kind of, and it, with the help of the accelerant, ignites on the end of the torch. And for the first time in a little bit, everyone sort of has that initial meeting of light after being in the dark for so long. It's sort of like everyone recoils a bit before you're like, oh, holy shit, yes. Nice. Flip out that as your torch ignites. Hey, success.
Yay! As we're still in
You did
here, I'm
it.
gonna kind of venture forward some. I'm going to keep looking for dried tinder and stuff to keep kind of adding to it, just to keep
Okay.
it stoked.
Indeed, and you will, as you start to look ahead too, especially with your newfound light, you can start to feel a lot of the things that you were missing, just with due to not having that, and you start to be able to gather, especially with the coming area. The vine overgrowth is quite dense up ahead, and you will most likely be able to find some dried portions of such.
Yay! Thank you, Goosefoot, for the whiskey.
Always happy to share some spirits.
And Mumbleman, you see them all starting to catch up again.
Mumbleman still hasn't moved. He's lost in a memory or thought or haze.
Bjorn kind of reaches over and taps his back. You okay, old man?
He kind of flinches, stutters a little bit. Yep, and starts moving again. Trying to hide
Look
the
at
fact
Altair.
that, he was off on a different galaxy, basically.
I look at Altair and go, I think the old man pauses.
Yeah, there's a few things wrong with them. So
He's like 10 feet away.
I don't think you can hear him. Hear my guy.
I've heard about people going insane after 2 years by themselves. I don't know what 50 would do.
But yes, this area starts to open up into a more dense thicket of vine, root, and crystalline overgrowth. The path does continue and the cave continues, and Mumbleman you are familiar with, but the overgrowth here is a lot more than you ever remember it, especially because you don't remember how long it's been since you've been in here, this far especially.
Not much further. But it's more difficult than it used to be.
And you sort of are in this moment stepping up and on. Whole intertwined floor is just covered in roots. A lot of it is hard to find, even just the bare stone, and you sort of have to walk up and along and sort of watch your footing in this moment as it sort of goes up. And the cavern roof, you lose sight in certain spots, like the light doesn't touch the ceiling in certain spots, produced by the torch. And here as well, Bjorn, you would find more accessible tinder as well to keep your torch going. Mumbleman and Bjorn, since you're moving at this pace in the front, you start to see perched atop one section of roots that sort of reach like this Y-like protrusion. A familiar husk of creature you've all fought and seen before is either stuck to, embedded, or impaled upon parts of the roots on the ground. But its husk hasn't faded away.
Can we collect the husk?
You definitely can if you make a survival check on said creature.
And does it? I'd also like to see if it has its core in it.
You do, as you get closer and look at it, nothing from that is no. But most of the husk you could begin to try to pull free, and you're trying to ascertain what happened to this creature. And as you begin to try and remove it from it, you're like, oh, it's impaled on it, and you bust away part of its mildly rotten husk off of the shoulder, and you realize on the inside of it that it's been here for quite a while. Most likely won't be good harvest. But it hasn't faded away like what you had seen on the surface, especially as it sort of like twist and gnarl and contract on itself. This is, I want to say, naturally preserved, if that makes any sense. But is a bit rotten to pull apart.
Okay.
No core glow and no husk.
Sounds good.
Kind of curious what killed that thing.
I'm just glad it's
Unless
not
they
with
actually-
us anymore.
Goose,
actually
you
has
keep up,
its
just
way.
check. But yes, progressing forward, you do see you leave behind one of the husks of that creature. The path begins to sort of narrow in again before opening up. Mumbleman, you pass by some really large green crystals that protrude right directly into the side of the cavern and sort of outwards. And if you weren't paying attention or were taller, you most likely would hit your face on this if you weren't paying attention.
I'll knock it with my short sword to see if I can get a ring out of it.
And it almost has a metallic sort of ring to it as you do hit it. It kind of like ping, ping. It's you can sense the density of it, but its sound isn't like a dull thud or any ring a bit from it.
I kind
The
of
red,
do a little half smile to myself.
the red are the natural ones, and then the green are from the mother, right?
So yes, that's something that obviously we'll get more familiar with, Dylan, as we go through. But the dull greens, reds, and yellows are I'm going to say the more invasive crystals produced by the queen. There are blue and like a vibrant red that are the astrally produced crystals that you and your circle are the more familiar with.
Okay.
You reach this point as well, and Mumbleman, this is the area where you knew this grove that you were familiar with, and you can see the overgrowth producing from the floor, but another wall of vine and thick, sort of twisted and gnarled roots bar the entry further to this point. But what you do notice through some of the cracks of the vine is light is being produced from beyond this point. Whether it be natural or something, but something is emanating from within here that is producing its own light source.
This flower petal thing back here, it's the first time I've seen it tonight. Can I attempt to harvest it?
Of course you can.
What roll would you like?
Nature check. And you see Barney kind of walk over as well. You pull down this like large, it's almost about as tall as you are. You pull down the large flower and you kind of go to take the top of it off, and what you realize is that it's full of a lot of the cave water, and it pours out, and you instinctually react to it thinking something bad's going to happen, which breaks the stalk, and there's nothing of use from this plant now that it has as it's smashed off the ground.
I just shake my head in disgust and then move on.
Yeah.
Is that the way you're supposed to do that?
There are better ways. And if you notice, I didn't take any of it because the water rotted it out and it's no good anymore.
Okay.
Yes, that's it. The water
How
rotted it out. It's no good. It's not that I broke it. It's that the water rotted it out. It's I don't make mistakes like that ever.
if you find a good one of those, how do you cut it properly?
And I go back into Mumbleman lecture mode.
But you are at this point. You can see that the cave floor gives way from root and rock to grass and long grass that protrudes out of the bottom of this overgrown passage. Try to look through some of the cracks, but they're not large enough to really glance through without sort of reacting to the light being produced from the other side. But Mumblemen were familiar with at least going past this point again, but see another impasse here.
I try some of my powder, which I'm starting to run low on.
And you do, and the vines react poorly to it. You can definitely tell that there's queen growth here as some of the vines start to react, pull in, gnarl, and twist, track, but don't reveal any further. They're just poorly reacting to that. It would be the same situation where you'll most likely have to either hack through or pull through to progress.
I look at Bjorn and in a small, very tiny, whisper, quiet voice, help.
While holding torch in my one hand, I want to reach up with my the arm and kind of like wrap a few vines around it, start snatching some of them down.
Okay, and you do. Athletics check, please, and thank you. Anyone else doing anything in this moment as well to assist?
Can I?
Yeah.
Well-
Ooh.
Goosefat will start hacking at it.
Okay.
I'll take my freshly refurbished axe and take some hacks at it.
And you do, and the thunk and the ding of sword slashes, Goose, axe thunks from that. Bjorn, almost feeling this ancestral rage surge through you, just bust through, whether it be weakened from the acidic powder or just pivotal points that they've been striking. You grab and you bust off, and you're starting to become blind from the light that's starting to pour through. And as you start to gaze through some of the cracks that are being revealed, it shows a small, either naturally lit or at least a glow grove in the center of this cave where there's lush overgrowth, which gets you excited, and you all just keep into that pattern, creating an open space, hacking, pulling, ripping. Mumbleman, you're getting excited, and then it opens up, and you fucking through.
And I slip past them and run through.
And you are in this lush grove, and each one of the crystals in here are growing with this natural eminence of rich blue coloration that just leaves everything aglow in this strange spectrum of light. There are plants, mushrooms, bulbs that are the size of, Bjorn's head. And just there's a lot of natural growth in here, and Altair, the immediate realization of these emanating crystals has piqued your interest, but everyone has revealed this lit grove within this deep cave here.
I immediately run to the glowing crystal.
You do, and standing 6'2" or 3", whatever you are, this crystal almost touches the top of the ceiling, which in certain points is here reaches anywhere from 15 to 20 feet in the center, but sort of branches out, not dome-like, but rock form dome formation, and probably pushes anywhere from 10 to 11 feet at the apex of these crystals, and it's about in the center of it where the glow is emanating from.
I guess I do my thing again.
So this also, sorry not to cut you off, but this piques your interest, especially because these are the natural formed crystals that you would recognize. This blue coloration especially is like, oh, I've Sirius and Rigel and I have really, truly delved with these before. Anyway, sorry.
All good. I will try and I'll touch it and see what I can get out of it, I guess.
Okay, sure. And you reach out and begin to sort of commune with this crystal. But in that moment, we'll move on to what others are going to be doing in this moment. I'll say, Goose, what are you doing?
Goose really likes the smell of these flowers over here, and he's just going to start munching down on them and hoping for the best.
Okay, sweet. All right. You begin to munch on flowers. Bjorn, what are you doing?
Keeping my torch going and kind of trying to figure out how long everyone's gonna be sitting in here. I want to try to see how long I need to sit for a long rest.
Okay. So you're kind of taking a break in the moment while everyone spreads out?
Yep, and looking for like a rock or something.
Okay, there is a plenty of rock in here, not just the walls and the cave itself, but there's loose debris from the cave walls, as well as these strange blue crystals in here as well.
All right, get a rock. I want to start carving into it.
Okay.
And just carve the storm rune into it again, hoping I can rest long enough.
Okay. Barney, what do you?
As soon as we got in here, Arnie noticed these bulbs, the ones that Mumbleman couldn't get outside because they were wrecked or they were bad ones.
Yep.
And I'm gonna make I went straight for them and I make my attempt to take them down.
Okay, so we'll get a nature roll from you, and then we'll move over to Mumbleman. I take it you're doing the same thing.
Mumbleman, yeah, but his whole demeanor has shifted, where normally he's like quick and efficient and talking to himself. He's gone quiet and he's slowed way down, and he's being very precise and trying to maximize what he can harvest.
Okay.
And he's going for what he needs most first as well.
Okay, so what I'm going to get from you, James, is to make a nature check and also roll a d20 for me, please. Barney, you see it and you're like, I'm not going to do what Mumbleman did. I'm better than him. So you walk over and you start to pull the bowl down gently enough, and you look in the top of it as the ichor from inside of it pours out and splashes against the petals of the flower right across your fucking eyeball. And you feel a
Ugh.
sensation for a second. You're like, ow, what? And then, ow, 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 ow. I need you to make a concentration, please.
And Mumbleman used his inspiration as well.
Okay. Okay, so good. You're not blinded, but you feel the burning of whatever fluid had built up on the inside of this. As you pulled down, the washout might not have been cave moisture, but something that's withheld within the bulb itself. And it poured right directly into your eyes. But you are not temporarily blinded by this. It takes a moment to shake off the burn from it. Mumbleman, so 19. Okay, so yeah, you begin to harvest, and you are looking for something in particular. It'll take you, I'd say, 10 solid minutes before you find any sonar.
Yeah.
And with that, it's going to be 9 leaves total in this entire cave, like in this entire room, sorry.
Yep.
But you know you'll need the extract from the leaves, so it's like, yeah, I have a bunch, but what you might yield from that is also dependent. But you have found some of your key items, as well as a number of different flowers, bulbs, and leaves from other plants if you so choose, or if you're just focused on that's what you find.
I focused on that first, then I moved to the other stuff. One of the things I want to do though is I want to check similar plant that Barney was just at, and if
Yeah.
there's fluid in it, I would want to fill up a couple of jars or flasks. Sorry, I
Sure.
won't have a couple on me. I will only have like one, and I'll actually clean out the glowy jar, so I'll have two.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just looking at something here real quick.
Yep.
Goose, you chomp down on yellow flowers. You get a good few mouthfuls in, and these bushes are pretty large, and they sort of cover, like I want to say 8-foot cubed area, right, in certain growths. And you realize that a lot of these larger bushes have these sort of strange, like red trunks to them that go right into the ground. And you're munching on flowers, and they taste sweet at first, but the aftertaste goes to this sort of bitter thing. But you're not affected by nothing poisons. You say there's no cons in regards here, but the taste at the end isn't so great as the initial. But you do munch a whole lot of these flowers.
At the new taste, Goosebat just kind of opens the mouth and lets like the bad flowers, I guess, that he's been eating just kind of drip out of his mouth. He looks over at Mumbles like, "What kind of shit plants are you growing here?"
I'm not growing. These are natural. These are important. This is the stuff you can make cures from. That's why it's so hard
I
to get to.
I've had plenty of cure in my life, but I've never
Ugh.
had some that taste like this shite.
I think this stuff's curing my eyeballs of sight.
And sorry, yeah, Mumbleman, you said you were making your way over to Barney. Did I
No,
hear that, or did I make that up in my head?
no, it's the one of these plants, like the plants that Barney's at, and if it's full
Oh,
of
okay, great.
fluid, I want to try and preserve that fluid.
Okay. So yeah, that'll be part of your previous nature roll in this chamber.
Yep.
So 19, it carries through, and you can preserve a vial of the liquid from this flower. But yes, your sight has returned, Barney, at this point. Obviously, you haven't. Again, you
Just trying
weren't
to
blinded.
wipe it out of my eyes and my face because I didn't bring any water with me.
Okay. Now, Altair. You sort of stand up and reach the center part where this illumination from this crystal. You have that familiar sense as you realize that you are touching one of the astral crystals. So the vision shunt is a bit different than the influence that you see from the queen crystals. So this one sort of gives you this strange third-person view of yourself for a second before you blast back into your body and then start to receive the vision of this crystal. What you see after you start to focus is this shadowy figure of a figureless shape, almost like an ink drawing, and then it changes into that of the shape of a woman, just dark, no real features or anything like that. You can see that she's gazing up into a sky, and the sky reveals a sun, and she seems to be happy that the sun is shining on her, and reaching up, now rejoicing in it, grabbing towards it. The sun fades as it wanes down beyond the horizon, and then she looks towards it, and you can see her with excitement look and face the opposite direction as the sun emerges again on the opposite side of you see a faint smile emerge on the face of this shadowless figure, or shadowy figure, she turns her gaze towards that sun and revealing now this large sphere that she holds, probably about the size of her in retrospect. The sun wanes again. She follows it to the ground and then pulls back around, the sun rising again. But beside the sun now, you can see the emergence of another rock. And this rock, for a second, gets in the way of the light of the sun, and you can see the smile fade to a frown, and then drops the sphere on the ground. And then the smaller sphere moves out of the way of the sun, and she smiles again as that vision fades away, and you are left in the reveal of this chamber. That ringing sort of pulses off as perception meets you again, and you're back in this sort of illuminated grove around it, experiencing this really strange vision. One that you'll most likely have to have either some questions about, or one that's definitely piqued your interest. The message, difficult to transcribe.
Okay. I'd like to try and collect it, as well as some of the blue crystals around as well.
Okay. In similar fashion, again, you start same as you had done before, looking for pivotal points on the crystal itself. Now, there are some sort of shards that are in the base where it had either flaked off or shelled off of it. But if you wanted to try and gather right from this actual crystal itself, you can. It'll be a survival check to gather from it.
Okay. I'm going to use the inspiration as well that I had from last game.
Okay, sweet.
So,
Oh, shit. Wow, that's kind of weird to look at. But yes, you sort of use your staff in similar fashion, and it is not nearly, I'm not going to say durable, but the one portion you really focus on, you get off like this triangular cap, 1 point, probably again 10, 15 pounds worth of this one focused crystal. With eager resolve, you feel pretty excited about that gather. Good one.
sounds good.
And you sort of get that off, and you're holding it in your hand, getting ready to put it back in your bag, and that's Goose Fat and Barney, from sort of between you towards that bush that you were eating off of, you hear that sound.
That don't sound right.
You sort of move over towards that crystal, Goose, and you can, starting to look towards it, and you can see through the area that you had fed on some of the flowers, takes the focus off away of the yellow colors to that red trunk of it. And where that trunk was meeting the ground, you can actually see it twitch and move for a second. And around the left side of this crystal, you hear that as you see this emergence of a snake head shoot out around the side and kind of lunge towards the bottom side of like your calf and leg from around the side. The snake reveals itself that was coiled up around the base of this tree. It's going to make an attack roll against you. Oops, I add my mod. That's a +4, so 20 to hit.
Yeah, that definitely hits.
Okay. Take 6 points of piercing damage, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw, please. Okay, you feel the surgence of some sort of venom or poison sink into your leg after it bites you, but you fight off the effect of it, and you are not poisoned. But there's this large snake that has revealed itself from around the edge of the crystal and is looking right towards you at this moment. I need initiative from everybody, please, and thanks. Everyone else now hears this and looks up to see this 8-foot or so snake has emerged from this bush and is starting to now look towards Goose after snapping at it. Large, 2 fangs out the front, long tongue hanging out the front. Bjorn in the middle of your rune creation. Oh, holy fuck, there's a giant snake here. And Barney wiping your eyes and, what the fuck? Mumbleman and Altair as well, you would see this emergence of this creature. That's 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay, sweet. Top of the round, Barney, you get to react first in this moment after it lashed out and nommed. Wow, bit fucking Goose's leg, and as he sort of pulls back, this creature now just sort of harrowing between the crystal and him, looking to react in this moment. You get to go first. What do you do?
I is it still back in the bush kind of now?
It's emerged from it as it sort of reared up after striking, but you can see it. But from where you are, you just have to sort of maneuver around as it sort of has the crystal between Goose and it. But it is revealed. It is revealed.
Okay. Can I kind of hit it from around the crystal from here and put the crystal between me and it?
If you swing at it from around the crystal, that would grant it slight cover. Unless you try to move, you'd have to move a bit closer to not impose that.
Yeah, Barney's gonna come up here and try to take a hack at it from around the crystal, and then keep the crystal between him and the snake.
Okay.
Afterwards,
What are you hitting it with? Your axe?
my short sword.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead and make an attack. 20 hits. Even around the crystal, you sort of lash it towards it. So snake. Its attention once on Goose, now on you. Straight at.
Hey,
Okay, certainly. Okay. Bonus action, any movement?
bonus action. Nothing. That's the end of my turn.
Okay. Snake is going to move up and slither around the side of the crystal. You can see it fully emerging and releasing from the trunk of the bush, and you see it pop up, and it sort of dips backwards, goes low, and then goes sideways with its bite and try and lash it.
I think I made a mistake.
15 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit me.
Okay. Oops. 4 points of piercing damage as it bites into you. I need a Constitution saving throw. You feel the surgence of that, but you wait off that effect from it before it pulls back after sinking teeth into you, but not affecting you in the way it thinks it should have. After it sort of bobbles back, you hear that same sort of hissing sound starting to emerge from around the trunk of here. But Goosefat, you're up, followed by Bjorn.
All right, Goosefat's going to rush this thing, and he's going to try to grab its two fangs and grapple it.
Okay, so give me a athletics check, please. That's going to be a contested athletics. Yeah, you have grappled the snake by the teeth. You can feel the tongue sort of lashing out and licking against you, but you are struggling to hold it. You actually have a hold of it, and you seem to have the upper hand and strength.
Okay. As a bonus action, since I have it grappled, if I jump with my rabbit hop, I can jump 5 times my proficiency bonus in feet.
Okay.
Can I bring it up with me 10 feet?
What is your strength score?
16.
Okay, so times. Uh, yeah, you can jump up with it. It's not that it's huge. It's just the token is big because of its size. So interesting. You leap up with this. What are you trying to do out of leaping up with?
On the way down, I want to try to slam its head into that crystal right here.
Fucking cool. Okay, yeah, I'm down. So yeah, you jump up with your bonus action. No, you successfully grappled it. So I would say the roof in this part here is about 15 feet up, and then slam down onto the crystal. So that will be 12 damage. And then, so go ahead and roll a d8. Okay, so 2 points from your slam and 3 points of fall damage. So, but your natural, I bounce feet. I don't think you would suffer from that, right? Is there something regarding?
No, I don't suffer damage from the rabbit hop.
Right. Good. But yeah, you jump up with it, and it sort of brings it to this full extent where it hardly gets off the ground. Barney, you watch about 2 feet of the tail emerge off the ground before Goose slams back down and catches the side of its head off the side of the crystal, where it pulls and obviously slams its head right into it. You still have a hold of its 2 fangs. It is bleeding now as it trails some of its ichor across the crystal on the ground, and you still have a hold of it. It is hurt, but it is not felled as a. What else would you like to do?
That's the end of my turn.
Okay, sweet. Yes, but you still technically are grappling this.
Yes, I still want to grapple it.
Yep.
So
And
it is restrained.
yeah. Bjorn, you're up, followed by Altair.
I'll just go over there and push my torch into it.
Okay.
Not
So
mothering my torch out, but just burning it some.
I don't even feel like, since it's restrained, that this is an attack moment. I'd just say roll a d6. Since it is restrained, technically it's being handled by Goose. You just walk up and it attacks you
Fire.
very poorly. But you damage it further and sort of char part of its scales on its back. Didn't like that. Anything else that you're doing?
I'm walking away.
Okay. Okay.
And that's it.
Okay. That hissing that came from that bush on the other side It pops up another snake that was in the base of it, its head emerging up into the top, and it begins to scan it like a periscope, looking back and forth with the reaction combat here. Altair, you're up.
Okay, I'm going to bonus action cast Shillelagh, and then as my action, I'm gonna cast Ice Knife on it, at it. So it's an attack roll. So, does a 15 hit it?
15. Oh, sorry, which one are you swinging towards? Mine's.
The one on the right. Sorry, the new one.
Yes, a 15 will hit.
Okay, it takes 1 piercing damage, and then it needs to make a Dex save of 13 as well.
Okay, I can do that. Hey, I fail in this one.
It takes 5 cold damage.
Okay, so yeah, you cast out this ice knife, and it hits the front of it, and then the explosion of the shards of cold definitely turns its attention on you after that breach there, but it does suffer some damage from that and reacts poorly to that.
Okay, then I want to move. I'll move right there, and then that's my turn.
Okay. Mumbleman, you're up. Followed by Barney.
Mumbleman will move forward here, and
Okay.
he will pull out a small tube. It's like a piece of intestine that's stuffed, and he will squeeze it and shoot out a stream of blue white liquid at the snake that just emerged.
Okay. Is that to hit?
Yeah, that's 11 to hit.
Yeah, 11 misses, unfortunately.
All right.
Yeah, it throws out, and you can see it actually pull back, either learning from its previous attack or just luck of it spaz out from it being hit. The cold brew doesn't make purchase with it.
Okay. And then bonus action, Misty Step to get in behind Bjorn
Okay.
for cover, and I will hold out my short sword to him and offer it. And that'll be the
Okay.
end of my turn.
Interesting. We'll see what he does on the beginning of his turn.
Yep.
Barney, you are up. You hear the emergence of another one behind you as it gets blasted by this burst of ice and this other jet of cold that it moves out of the way. And then you see the one that emerged to fight you originally is being sort of held by the fangs by Goose and slams its head against the side of the crystal there.
Holding the blood in the 2 giant holes that he now has in his side, Barney will go after the one that Goose got peeled off of and started wrestling on the ground.
Okay, attacks will be at advantage because it's strained. 12 does not hit, though. In its thrash of being hit against it, you swing your sword and it does not make purchase.
8 still. Ugh. And that's the end of my turn.
Okay. Sorry, no. Terrible. I don't like that.
Actually,
Level 1.
I might step sideways so there's room for someone else to come in and take a shot at this thing.
Okay. Yeah, you don't leave its range technically, it's restrained anyways. On top of its turn, it is going to try and break the grapple. Goose. Get another athletics check from you, please.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, damn. Okay, here it is. Michael Jackson's. This is it.
Dirty
It's
20.
still currently restrained. Trying to break free. Sort of caught up in the moment of that reaction of you having a hold of it. It ends its turn there. Can't do anything. Goose, you're up. You still have a hold of its fangs. It's not saying.
Um, this time, I'm going to start off with the bonus action. We're just going to, rinse and repeat. I'm going to do another
Okay.
rabbit hop with it.
Sure. So go ahead and roll another D8 for me, please. And then I'll do the same. Oh, shit. This one's going to be a good one. So 11 points. That one really opens up the side as one part of its eye socket sinks in, and it starts to really try to break free of your grasp, but it can't. You have a really good clutch on the one fang, especially. And whether you're using your short sword to pry against to hold it, I don't know. Prosthetic arm, but you're doing really well. And but that slam really fucked it up, and it's starting to pour blood out of the side of its head, and it's starting to do that. I'm not going to say death shake, but it's really trying to break free, but it's struggling to sort of maintain itself here.
Because I damaged it my previous turn, it is now a favored foe of mine. So my damage does another D8 or D4.
Oh shit! Okay, is that following this point or as of now?
Yeah, additional to the D8.
Okay. So some more damage that really drives through that impact to the crystal again. As you can see, the creature's looking pretty rough, but it is still holding.
And then I'm going to try to just like finish it off with my little arm sword.
Okay. 22 definitely hits, but you break your grasp, strike at the
I got you. Let's see what we do with it.
6 points of damage. And you slash across the front of it. Describe to me how you fell this creature.
Instead of slashing it, when I come down with it, down back onto the ground, I kind of angle my my other arm beneath its jaw, and as we fall down, it falls down onto the sword, piercing the top of its head.
And then it you can see it struggle in that last bit of nerves, and it twists up and coils and then goes slack, and it kind of takes you by surprise because the weight of it falls against you, and you have to sort of pull your sword out, and then you're like, holy fuck, yeah, as you fell one of these creatures. But the other one now is starting to react as it looks like it's getting ready to lunge forward.
Part of my turn, can I snap off its, since I'm already holding on to it, can I snap off one of its fangs?
Sure. Is this for material reasons?
Yes.
Actually, you know what? I'd say since you felled it, it would break off during the impact of slamming its head, and you'd have one of the fangs in your hand. Fuck.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That ends my turn, and
Okay.
I turn my gaze to this new snake over here.
That one, after being blasted by ice, sort of like shakes its head to get the crystals off of it, and it's going to slither out and then lunge towards you, Altair. Oh, fuck me. 9 to hit. Wait.
No.
No, it doesn't hit. All right. And it sort of swirls backwards and then shrivels up. It doesn't leave your range. Just sort of moves slightly over, ending its turn. Bjorn, you're up, followed by Altair. Bjorn, as Mumbleman appears behind you, he tries to offer you this short sword. What do you do? Dan? Uh-oh.
I think our Goliath is frozen in thought.
Brain fart at the moment. I'll forego. Oh,
Sorry.
Mumbleman appears behind you and tries to present a short sword to you. Is your turn.
I just kind of stare at it and look at him. What's with that?
It's a weapon. I have other things.
No. A bow was a weapon. I grab the rock I had, and I make a ranged attack with a rock.
Sure, you could. You see it lash out towards Altair. He sort of dodges out of the way as you sort of rear back with this rock and go to wing it towards this creature. Yeah, as you can just I'd say making attack rolls like throwing is no different, right? Or it would be at a -1 from your mod, right? Because your bow stuff, fighter.
It's technically, because it's not a bow, I got disadvantage on it. Right?
You wouldn't have
No, I don't-
disadvantage, it'd be an improvised
No.
weapon.
Or was that at what level was that thing that you found? Or no, that was you have that certain
Oh,
thing,
the
right?
feet. The feet I found.
Isn't that something to do with like your race? Or I can't remember what we talked about with that. Because we talked about making your thing with melee as advantage, and you're like, oh wait, I have this thing, which is what I'm
Well,
looking
no.
for. Yeah.
No, all that did was made it where, while making ranged attacks while you're within 5 feet of a hostile creature, you do not have disadvantage on the attack rolls. Your ranged
Right.
attacks ignore half cover and 3/4 cover and targets within 30 feet of you. You have +1 attacks. But I can't use melee weapons. I have no idea how to use them.
Okay, well, I thought we talked through that, but yeah, either way, if you want to make a disadvantaged rock throw, I'd figure since it's at least range, that might still slightly be up your alley. But hey, that's up to you, man.
Oh, no, yeah, I thought that's what you were saying.
No.
Okay. So just a d20?
Plus your strength and
Strength modifier. Did it roll? No.
no, it has.
There you
You wing
go.
this rock.
Maybe 10.
Yeah, unfortunately, 10 misses as it bobs and goes to strike towards Altair. That's that moment where you throw that rock and it soars over top and sort of hits the back of this mushroom back here and sinks into it.
And sorry for the delayed answer. I had actually fell asleep.
That's okay. I know. Long day.
Yeah, I get up at like 4:30 in the morning to go to work.
Oh, dude. Okay. Well, we'll get through this here and we'll call it. I was going to call it after combat. So. But yes, that goes wide. Anything else you'd like to
Push the sword back to Mumbleman. I don't use those. I can only throw things or shoot bows. I don't know how to handle
He
weapons.
looks at the sword and
Sword.
shrugs his shoulders and I tried.
Unless I can throw your sword.
Does that end your turn?
Yes, and my turn.
Okay, Altair, you're up, followed by Mum.
I'm gonna stay in its range, but go around to the other side of it. To open up a flank for the other people's turns, and then I'm gonna whack it with my staff.
Yeah, you do. It follows you as you sort of like arrow around the side of it. You lash out towards it with your staff. 13 just hits.
Oh, it hits. Sweet.
Just hits.
5 damage.
5 points of damage as you clout the side of its head with it. Looks like it's getting ready to bite towards you again. Anything else you do on your turn?
Nope. That's it.
Okay, Mumbleman, you're up, followed by Barney.
Mumbleman's gonna skirt around Bjorn and scream something incoherent at the top of his lungs and charge for the flanking spot and use the short sword.
Hell yeah, you do. You guys watch this old man with this rusty old sword come, whatever it is, and just slam down towards it. You'd add +2 to this.
Oh shit!
Battle cry of the century, right there.
he goes feral. He just.
I can vision it. I can picture it too completely. But yes, landing true. Describe this how you strike the moment.
I'm checking out my damage here. Okay, yeah, that crit was a 1. God damn it. Alright.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
describe how what, sorry?
Just how your flavor of attack here is. You
Oh, it's pure blind luck. Like, he has... he hasn't attacked anything in, like, 50 years, as far as, like, with the short sword. Um... So it's like his eyes are closed and he's charging forward with the sword extended, and he
and you
happens to actually hit something fairly important.
and you realize after you open your eyes that you had pierced right through the center of its scaly body, and it sort of is like recoiling as you pull the blade out, and its long, unsharpened, serrated edges really pull forward as the arterial spray hits the ground. Oh, fucking good one.
And
But it reacts poorly to that.
he's now got this like look of complete glee on his face, and he's hopping back and forth left and right like a little bit of a dance jig.
Anything else that you're doing?
Uh, that
Bonus
is
action.
no, that's everything. All I've got
Okay.
left is
Yeah.
the bonus action, and I don't have anything for it.
Arnie, you are up. Followed by
Barney turns around just in time to see Mumbleman's amazing attack, and he's, wow, great hit, old fella. And he comes in to try to take one of his own after him.
this will be +2 as well. Flank 21 hits for sure. 4 damage. You run through on the backside of that as well as now just starting to surround and stab and carry on anything else that you're doing.
That's the end of my turn.
Okay, Goose, you're up.
All right. On top of Mumble's amazing attack, I'm gonna try to like run up behind him, like run up his body, jump off his shoulders or head. And I want to try to like ram this fang I got from the other snake into the snake.
The Fang.
Yeah.
Okay. So give me a quick acrobatics check, just for flavor, and then make your attack roll.
What do you want me to make the attack roll with?
Roll a d20 and add your strength and
Want me
yeah,
just to use my short sword?
just because. Oh, okay, wow. I'm gonna say it. There's been like 4 or 5 roll natural 20s today. Like, it was pretty serious. The Fang Pierce is brutal. You slam up Mumbleman, you feel this moment like, what the fuck is that? And then out of nowhere, this Herringon comes down, slams this Fang right into the top of his head as it starts fucking reacting poorly. A major hit, major damage to the creature. It's not looking so hot after that.
Okay, as a pure
Will it also
reaction,
take venom damage?
Yeah, that's a lot of damage.
no, he asked if he takes venom damage from the tooth or fang.
No, it does not.
Damn.
As a pure reaction, right here, right now, I go for a high five with Goose Fat.
I try to give you a high five, but almost hit you with my sword hand. And take it back real quick and give you a regular high five.
Okay. Ending your turn.
And that's it.
Okay. It's going to make one last ditch attempt in its state of life to lash out towards Altair. Fucking 6. Awesome. Doesn't do so hot. Bjorn, you're up.
I guess I'll just get in the mix
Yeah, you
and
can
try
see
to
as you.
maybe restrain the
Okay.
snake, like grapple it to the ground to give someone a
Sure.
clean hit.
Go ahead and make an athletics check. Ooh, you're besting it, although it did put up quite a fight in its panic state of survival. But you do restrain it, and it is restrained by you. I would say, how about from this point, we'll describe as a team how you all fell this thing after Bjorn walks up, grabs it, and holds it up. It pretty much revealing everyone who's had this stab fest on this creature so far the opportunity to have at it.
Mumbleman looks at everybody after it's restrained, and he starts counting down. 3, 2, 1.
I don't. Altair doesn't know what that means. He just stands there.
You watch Mumbleman stabbing.
Yeah.
At 1,
He
Mumbleman
just
goes to
counts
stab.
down and just stabs.
Goosefat was confused. Do we go like on one? Do we go after one? Like he didn't know what was going on either.
Yeah, I hesitated a full second because I was expecting a go after one, and then you surprised me. I'm like, oh, go okay.
The snake's just like, kill me already.
Yeah, and Bjorn, you feel it go limp in your arms as you hold it as the rest of you fell this creature. And the threat in this grove is quelled as you kill these two snakes that were hiding in these bushes. And everybody level.
Sweet.
We did.
And on top of that, we will end tonight's session awesomely at that. And obviously, you guys have a week or so to go through your sheets and level up. If you want to roll your HP increases at your own leisure, you can just roll them on Roll20 and you can see them for everyone to roll. Especially Dan, if you're tuckered as fuck and you want to go to bed, dude. Reroll
No,
one. Don't take one. You don't take one.
What is my hit dice?
Oh
Way
damn.
better. Way better.
I'll take it.
But yes, good shit, guys.
So it's 1d10 plus my con.
Yes.
No,
Yeah, those are some good rolls.
plus 12.
Yeah, if you have 3, then yep.
23.
Forgot about
Fucking
adding con. That's
Oh.
exciting.
Here we go.
fucking exciting.
And I get my subclass that actually makes my background make sense. 'Cause be a whole background about a subclass I don't even get to level 2. So
Now you're finding your world.
Yeah.